once he like starts predicting his moves. Sure.
What'd you say?
He gets speed blitzed the entire fight. Once he starts to be able to predict his movements, he starts speed blitzing him.
Okay, so you know that he can blitz his pre-initiative, right?
Yeah.
So why would he not just be able to blitz Ohma if Ohma's slower than Carlos and he's worse pre-initiative?
For one, I don't think he has a worse pre-initiative.
Well, it's stated Gaolang states that Ohma's pretending to have mastered pre-initiative, and Carlos says that he has mastered pre-initiative.
Can
So Carlos,
you show me Gaolang saying that he pretended to?
he says, "Drop this pretentious master act, bit him."
I just think he means like don't like stop acting like he like
stop acting like you mastered it, right? Like it's what it says on the page. Okay, what do you think when he says drop this pretentious master act? What do you think he's
okay. Let me explain it. At the start, when Ohma starts using pre-initiative, the first thing he does is stop guarding or not use any guard at all, and just keeps trying to just keep using it. He hasn't fully like used it enough to be able to react to low lunge attacks.
Right, so he hasn't mastered. He's pretending to have mastered it. It's a master act, right? So you're saying that he's incapable of doing the thing that Gao or Carlos was shown to be able to do, and I'm arguing that
Carlos is like
wait. I'm like you keep saying you think that I'm in the middle of telling you what I think. So just calm down. So Carlos is able to do that thing where he drops his guard and he isn't able to get hit. Like he just weaves through that shit, and he's like, yeah, it's just I can do. And then Gaolang goes to say verbatim that it's a master act, and then you agree to say, oh yeah, he isn't quite as good with it as he thinks that he is. Okay, so you don't think he's not acting. You think Gaolang thinks that he's doing a good job. You think he has mastered it.
Yeah.
Okay, but why are you saying that when that's directly? Wait. Why are you saying that when that's directly contradicted by what's on the page?
Okay, well anyway, like actually, it's like stated by Kana. It's like stated by Kana that he's mastered it. That's why I just think that when Long is like, oh, drop this pretentious master act, he's saying like, don't act like you can dodge all of my attacks just by using pre-initiative. That's also bad though, because the first thing Long does when Ohma starts using it, he starts bodying Ohma, and then he says, he's like, what did he say? He was like, oh, like that's not enough to beat me. Like you would need to actually fight Gaolang and not just try to use pre-initiative.
Yeah, I think that's all headcanon. I think you can't prove any of that. Like none of that you can.
I just gave you the reason why I came to that conclusion.
Yeah, you can give me what you think. You can give me why you think he did it, but none of that shit is on the page, and none of that shit is supported by what's shown in the narrative. We see him.
I'm saying that.
Yeah, wait. I'm in the middle of talking. I just let you talk, so now it's my turn. So I understand that you think that's the case, but there's nothing to support it because the only things we see is the two of them and they start fighting with pre-initiative. Ohma tries to do this shit where he just drops his arm and he uses protection and pre-intent, and then fucking what Kano says is, so you've reached that level yourself, have you? And he's explicitly questioning it. And then we see Gaolang say, no, you haven't reached it. Drop this master's act. He commends him for having pre-initiative, but he's saying you haven't mastered it. And if you just read it, like go from one page to another, it's clear that's what he's saying. Like, because he's fucking him up. And all of this shit that we're talking about is in relation to them talking about pre-initiative. Like all of chapter 131, at least the first half, is talking about pre-initiative. So it would be weird for them to suddenly stop talking about pre-initiative in this one instance and then get back into it. That's so narratively it doesn't check out either.
Are you done?
Yes.
All right. I just think like I don't want to really like drag on this too much. I don't want an hour debate because I'm about to go to sleep anyway. Sure. Right? You want to just all right? We can just like I'll like say this last part, and like unless you have like something like big to say that you really like disagreed with, then we can just like move on or like go to yeah, just like based off of that, or we can conclude get judgment on that, or we just like move on, finish like the whole thing, and then we can like get a
Yeah, I
judgment
don't
or
care.
whatever
We
you
can
want to get.
conclude and get a judgment, or we can keep going. I don't care.
Yeah, so basically, right, with the whole for one, the definition of pretentious is trying to impress somebody, doing something to like trying to like impress them, right?
Mhm.
Which like backs up further from what I'm saying about Lolo, where he's like, that's not enough to beat me. Like, stop trying to just like flex, right? Because like I said, the first thing Oma does, he drops his guard and he tries to test his foresight, right? So he's like, Lolo is like telling him not to try to impress him. So he says, pretentious master, right? He's like, stop trying to like impress me or impress somebody else by flexing and doing all foresight. It's not enough to beat me. So, even though you think like it's not on the page, I think I've like given more than enough reasoning. Also, what like Kano says, no, this is what Kano says, this is what Gaolang says. He says that almost reached the apex of foresight, which is the same thing that's like described with Kuroki and Kano whenever they use their foresight. It's said to be like the apex, which is what pre-initiative is, like just foresight at the highest level. So it should be like somewhat relative to what Kuroki, Kano, and Carlos do, since it's all the same thing. There's not like a big discrepancy at the rate that they use their foresight and pre-initiative. So uh, that's like something else that you want to bring up.
Yeah, I do have something to bring up. All of what you said just then was wrong. They're just arriving at the apex of foresight. That's what pre-initiative is. Pre-initiative, the peak of foresight. So, and we do know that there are varying levels of pre-initiative because Lo Long had their pre-initiative than Ohma. So we do know the varying levels. So both things that you said just then were wrong. And then you really just haven't proven anything. Like you just repeated everything that's said again. You focused on word pretentious instead of the word act, which means to pretend like you're acting like something, which means you're pretending to be it. So I think if you look at this is the same that we see often where you look at something vacuously, and you did it extremely vacuously by just looking at one word rather than the whole thing itself. It'd be akin to if you were to see someone tending to be like someone were to have a fucking chauffeur out in front of fucking Applebee's. You'd be like, drop this pretentious act because they're pretending to be prestigious when it's Applebee's. You're not really what you're trying to be. So you have to look at things in the context of the narrative and the story if you want things to make sense. So that's the last rebuttal that I have for that. I'm going to go into that anymore. If you want to address what I just said, like there's nothing to go over. I was just correcting you, but we can if you want. Do you have any other points on this, or can we move on?
We can move on. Though one thing I will say, the whole thing, I was taking the full context of that statement because I think matters. Act has like I can like screenshot it. It has like fucking 17 different definitions, all of them saying around the same thing. There's only one that really says like pretend. And obviously, we do use act a lot of ways. Like, oh, you act like you're a big child. Like, we use it a lot of ways to say like somebody's pretending to do something. You can
Right.
also
The liquid meaning, right?
you could just also use it in a way where it's like somebody's trying like or somebody's like acting a certain way, they're doing a certain thing, not like just like pretending, but they're doing something a certain way, which is like also goes in and follows with what I've been saying with the whole Lo Long is saying that with Oma trying to impress everybody with him being like a master of foresight, right? And also with the thing of like the varying levels of foresight, yeah, I like agree that like with pre-initiative you can like out predict somebody, but when it's stated Lolong's out predicting Ohma, we literally see when once they continue their fight that they're like a relative with their foresight pre-initiative. Like they like whole have the whole battle of trying to out predict each other. The same thing that Kano and Kuroki do, where they it's just a battle of them trying to out predict each other, and they're just relative. I don't think like there's like a big discrepancy between everybody when they use force. I think it's just like of a relative level. And anyway,
Yeah.
even if there's like varying levels, I don't really think that you've like sufficiently proved that Carlos has like a much higher level or a higher level than Ohma does. I just think they're all relative, and I don't think you can prove Carlos's has.
Yeah, you just keep saying more and more shit, even though you said you're gonna move on, and it keeps being wrong. When in a real battle between two masters of pre-initiative, once one goes on the defensive, it's hard to recover, right? But we see that Lolong is constantly letting Oma reset by backing off. It's nothing like the fight between Kuroki and Kano, where they're constantly going back and forth and switching the flow because that's how two masters of pre-initiative look. Like you're just explicitly ignoring that. You also just literally described what a colloquial meaning is, or the meaning that most people mean within the context of something, and then you said, "Oh, but this is not one of those times," right? Like if someone's calling something a pretentious act, if you're thinking about that within the context of a sentence, that usually means that they're pretending to not to be something that they're not. Like that's what it means for something to be a pretentious act. It's really weird how you're trying to frame this, but that's once again my counter. If you feel also just to define pretentious, attempting to impress by affecting greater importance, talent, culture than is actually possessed. So that's like a pretentious act. He's pretending to be a master, which is what I said from the beginning. And the definition of pretentious just proves it. And by virtue of Lolong saying that he's not a master and Carlos saying that he is a master, that's him just blatantly being superior. Do you want me to post the definition of pretentious so you can see it, by the way?
I already looked at that.
Okay, so that would mean that he is literally pretending to be a master and Carlos is a master. So this point's a non-point. Okay?
We can just like conclude on that. I was just gonna like bring up the whole pretentious thing, but it's like like we just
Yeah, we just went into what pretentious means. So, in
yeah.
conclusion, pretentious master act is Lolong literally saying that Oma's not a master pre-initiative. Carlos is a master pre-initiative, so Carlos has better pre-initiative than Oma. Okay, so you want to go on to the next point?
Man, they got even concluded.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Okay. Like in conclusion, like we just like went on about the whole foresight thing. I think he's sufficiently proved Carlos has better foresight. With pretentious act, we've went over the definitions. It's pretty semantical anyway, whether like it really means you're just pretending. It could also just mean, and I've also tied this in with other things Lola wanted. He states that's not enough to beat me. Like it's stated Kano, or stated by Oman that Oma's also reached the peak of foresight or apex of foresight, which is what pre-initiative is. Or there's like varying levels, but we already went over all of that. I just don't think he's sufficiently proved that Carlos has like better level foresight than Oma. We can move on.
So, do we want to have our point judged
before
we move on?
we can like go over like everything in speed, and then we can have feeling like if like he's like.
I mean, are you gonna argue that?
Like,
I feel like the pre-initiative point is important.
Because like, listen, I already chose a winner for this last point.
All right, so can you just go over
do you want to like, villain, like you want to? Are you like? Do you think that you'd be like, since you said you're not really like that good of a judge, you think you could like, you'd be good with keeping up with the rest of the speed point and that's
sure, but listen, I judged this last point and explain why I thought who I thought won. Like I can explain it. If that's good enough for both of you, then sure, then just take my judgment then.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, if that's what you'd rather do, then you can do that if you want.
Okay, fine. So I think AeroFlame won. I just think that his reputation was like better, and he just had coverage. Like he just had you basically on the defensive, even though AeroFlame was supposed to be on the defensive. Mainly the biggest point was that he got off across the varying levels. I don't think you had any contention with that. Another thing is the whole pretentious thing, right? I think it just made what Arrow said made a lot more sense because you were trying to claim that like, oh, that Ohma was being pretentious overall, but it really does not make sense in the context of the fight. Since the whole thing was like a pre-initiative thing, right? So it would make sense that Lolong is talking about Ohma showing off like pretentious levels or something, or trying to be something that he's not in regards to like pre-initiative. And I think if I remember correctly, the whole hands down dodging thing, AeroFlame said that Carlos was able to do it, but then uh Ohma was not able to do it. Another thing was that Carlos stated himself that he was a master. Comrade, I don't think you even addressed that point, or much less had a refutation to it. So then, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think I have to go on further.
Okay, do you want to move on to the next point?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any problems with Gaolang being faster than Ohma?
Yeah, so that's why I said like there's like the rest of the speed point. You know, like Lolong, he's like stated for one that's like based on, you know, like Lolong stated to be able to like move as fast as Gaolang's flash.
No, it's not stated that he's able to move as fast as Gaolang's punches. It's stated that his short range super specialty punches could be as fast as Gaolang's flashes.
Yeah,
And
that's come
Carlos
Gaolang.
actually Yeah, and Carlos actually scales above the flashes and movement speed, and Gaolang is still able to blitz Carlos's pre-initiative, which can react to his flash.
Yeah, that's fine. We already like went over. For one, I also stated that even though at the start of their fight, Carlos showed like a significant speed advantage. The
I
reason
agree.
Gaolang was able to then outspeed him because he got used to his attacks and started to be able to predict them as well.
Well, no, he didn't have to get used to him. They start having like an exchange of blows from the start of the match. Like they have like that high speed exchange of jabs, and Gaolang's already able to respond to him. Um, so I don't really think that matters. What does that have to do with him being able to blitz Carlos's pre? Do you have a problem with that?
No, we already like went over that. I'm saying that doesn't like mean that he should be like faster than Noma necessarily, even if
Well,
like a better pre-initiative.
Well, Gaolang considers Roland not fast. He says Roland's not that fast.
That's like before he starts doing the thing with this torque. He
Okay,
starts
but
like
that's his
amping it up during
that's his striking speed, and his striking speed is still below Gaolang's because Gaolang can blitz someone who can dodge the flash.
that's yeah. I think I'm just saying that that's like completely predicated on him being able to get used to and predict Carlos's attacks.
Plus,
What are you talking about?
oh,
What is him having to get used to Carlos's attack have to do with him blitzing Carlos's pre-initiative?
Okay, I'm saying if we already know Carlos has shown to be able to react to Galwang's attacks, which like his flash is like him moving at a faster rate than his normal punches.
Mhm.
That's like him using like a special technique where he like moves at his fastest, right?
No,
I
that's not his fastest because Gaolang is able to blitz the pre-initiative that responds to the flash. Like
Yeah, I'm saying the whole
it's
reason why he
impossible
can
to
do that if for one we already know like the flash should be like as fast or
No,
faster than
that's what you
attacks.
think because he says that the punches that he throws later blitz the pre-initiative that dodge the flash. Like if
And
the
I've given
flash
okay,
if the
what I'm saying is
flash
I'm
no,
giving you a
comrade,
reason
comrade,
why this works.
comrade, comrade, just listen. If he can dodge something at a certain speed and then something else later on blitzes him, what does that mean?
I'm saying that's completely predicated on him being able to predict. That's why, like, you just like you
What
asked me
does
like
him
3 different.
having to be able to
Hold on,
predict?
damn, Nick, I'm explaining that. Relax. I was just about to say you've asked me that like 3 different times. I was gonna say the whole reason why I'm saying that him being able to predict them and like get used to his attacks. Well, for one, Gaolang brings that up to Carlos as to why he's able to easily react and then start tagging Carlos. He's like he like reacts. He either like reacts or tags. Man, I like have to get the panel. He reacts to one of his attacks. He blocks it. And he's like, it's too late. I've already like I can predict all of your attacks. I'm already used to them, right? If beforehand he's reacting to Galwang's attacks, unless you think for some reason he's holding back, right? Which he's already like during the Kaneda fight, he's already like gotten past the whole holding back thing. He thinks like that's dishonorable to do now. So there's always for him to like hold back on the strikes or for him to like get faster mid fight unless you think that he can do it. If he's like reacting and easily dodging Gaolang strikes beforehand, and then the Gaolang makes a statement, he says, "Oh, I can predict your attacks now." Once he like actually starts doing that, and then he's able to like completely start speed blitzing Carlos's pre-initiative and shit. I'm saying that it's complete. That the whole him being able to do that is predicated on him being able to predict it.
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said. Could you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, I just shortened it. I was saying that Gaolang, unless you think he's holding back where he gets faster in mid fight, he like at first he starts making a statement, right? He says, "Oh, once he like starts easily being able to speed blitz Carlos or react to him, he says, "Oh, no, it's too late. I can predict you now, right?" And if he makes that statement, right, as soon as he's able to start doing that, and then he's able to start like completely speed blitzing his pre-initiative when beforehand Meta was able to completely react and outspeed Gaolang.
Uh-huh.
That just means that unless for some reason you think he's holding back, which we know he shouldn't do because he's gotten past the whole thing with the kind of the fight, he thinks that's like
Uh-huh.
really retarded and dishonorable thing to do. There's no reason for him to like randomly get faster mid fight. So unless you think he's doing that, then
Okay, well, it doesn't matter what you think because it says on the page that he blitzed him. Like I really don't like no matter what you try and say, him knowing that nigga's patterns isn't gonna increase his speed. So he just has to be punching faster. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It says it on the page. Gaolang said he did it. I don't have to tell you why he did it. I don't have to tell you he was holding back or blah 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 blah. I don't have to make any fucking claims because Gaolang himself says he just punched faster. I don't have to tell you why it was written that way. Sandro says that in that time, when he started tagging him, that was by virtue of him punching so fast, his pre-initiative couldn't respond. That's it. Point blank. Him being able to track Carlos's movements doesn't make him faster.
all right, we can. Yeah, I've already like said all I need to say about that.
Okay. So do you wanna conclude on you wanna let Villain judge that point as well?
Yeah, we can go that.
Okay, so in conclusion, I think I won that point because my opponent was trying to say that I had to claim that he was holding back, which he learned not to do against Canada and blah, blah, blah. I don't have to do any of that shit. He said that he just punched so fast that his opponent couldn't predict it. Carlos was able to predict the flash. If he's punching so fast that he can't predict it, that means that the punches later on just have to be faster than the flash. There's nothing to go back and forth on. That's just like it's just irrefutable. He wasn't able to say why like Carlos's kit would make him faster, blah 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 blah. It was nonsense. Like none of that shit was relevant. Like Carlos can react to the flash, but he can't react to Gaolang's later punches, which means that they have to be faster. It is what it is. And so I think I won this point.
All right. I just like I gave Arrow like multiple lines of reasoning why like Gaolang isn't just outspeeding Carlos's with raw speed. Right. I just gave multiple reasons. He like literally said that he wasn't gonna address it and just like said that it's stated on the page. Right. And I for one the reasoning I gave was also something that's stated multiple times. I gave him multiple reasons. I said for one, he says that um he makes a statement. He says, "Oh, I'm able to predict you now," right? And if beforehand he's outspeeding him, which Arrow agreed that like at the start of the fight, Carlos did have a speed advantage. If he's able to outspeed him and easily react to his flash, like Arrow brought up, right? Unless like for some reason Arrow Gaolan's getting fast, it wasn't gonna then there's no reason for him to randomly then just be able to outspeak or like that doesn't even make sense. If like he's at the start of the fight, he can't outspeed Metal, and now he's randomly able to do it. There's obviously a reason, and I literally gave him an example of a statement where that reason is given. So Arrow's argument just leaves this big leap in logic And I gave an example, and I gave reasoning. I gave like something to fill in that hole, and he just like decided to ignore it. So I just like don't see a way where Arrow won that point. He can give a judgment villain if he wants to.
All right. I really think. I mean, I will say that you guys did kind of go back and forth, but I think Arrow won the point because what he was saying was just basically what was on the panel, and I don't think he sent the panel at all, or I don't think he had to. But Arrow, if I remember correctly, you're talking about the panel where where Gaolang is stating that he just punches faster, right?
Yeah, he just says he
Yeah.
punches faster.
Yeah, that's literally it. So all of these implications, right, that you're trying to bring up, comrades, or like about the Kanata fight, where it's like Gaolang has no reason to hold back. It just does not matter. Like Gaolang's mindset doesn't matter. Whatever he did, whatever bullshit, does not matter because he himself is stating that he just punched faster. Not only that, but you try to bring up the foresight. Arrow also mentioned that like foresight doesn't increase like your physical speed, so it kind of doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So you just didn't like you were attacking his argument, but like it just did not work. Like it wasn't sufficient enough to like quote unquote like debunk what Arrow was saying, and that's basically my judgment.
All right, you want to go into the AP points?
Yeah.
All right. Are you fine with the fact that Carlos should be a better striker, or Gaolang should be a better striker than Lolong, and Lolong's able to hurt Toa?
Like,
Because we see that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you just mean like Gaolang is more skill? Like, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Striking, sure.
Yeah, and having better striking is like, it makes you so you can like hurt people, because he says that Lolong's technique allows him to hurt someone like Toa, and Gaolang should be better than him, so he should also be able to hurt someone.
Lolong's certain technique. I don't know why that type means Gaolang's better. Or Gaolang's stronger than that.
What'd you say?
Lolong's certain technique. Yeah, I don't know why that means Gaolang's stronger than that.
I'm sorry, I'm not quite catching what you're saying. What are you saying?
Okay. Lolong's specific technique, yeah. I don't know why that means Gaolang can mimic the same thing.
No, so they were talking about his fight with Salat, and they're like, his technique like Salat is just close range, like punches and elbows.
Oh, so you're
and he's saying his technique in Salat allows him to hurt Toa. And Gaolang is a better striker. Salat's a striking martial art, and Gaolang is like the best striker in the verse.
All right, you done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gaolang, yeah, he's a better striker, but we know Lolong does do like a certain technique. For when he does the shit with the shoulders, right, where he can like increase the speed and by extension the power. Torque is like in Oshred state to be like you being able to move at a certain speed, which will increase your strength. So Lolong's base strength, which could be already higher than Gaolang's, and his striking strength, are relative, and then like he's moving at a higher speed. Or not a higher speed than Gaolang, but a higher speed than what he is, and then he can just hit harder. So when he one-shots Toa, it doesn't need necessarily.
Okay, where did you get any of that shit from? Why do you think that Lolong is stronger than Gaolang and base? Where did that come from?
Oh my
Max, you gotta mute your mic, big dog. Like, you're smacking it against your dick. Like, what's wrong with you?
Or Sir beat him. I don't know why he's doing that shit anyway.
But yeah, like where does the like, you just said that Lolong was stronger than Gaolang and base, like based on what?
I didn't say that. I said that he could beat up.
Okay, so do you have any proof that he is?
Hold on. Let me explain that. All right.
I understand that you're saying that he could be stronger, and I'm asking you what proof
No,
you
that's
have.
not what I'm going to explain.
So you didn't say that he could be stronger.
That's not what I said. Hold on.
That's not what you said. Okay, what did you repeat? Hold on. Well, you just said he could be stronger, and now you're saying that you didn't say it.
I didn't say that.
What'd you say?
I just said let me explain.
No, what'd you say? You said Lolong could be what? He could be what?
I said he could hit harder, yeah.
Okay, that's what I just said you said, and you said that you didn't say that.
I just told you that's not what I said. I said I didn't say that.
What?
Okay. So, Comrade, what do you want to say? Are you trying to say
Yeah,
that Lolong can hit harder
stop me from
than
saying it.
Gaolang?
Hold on. I don't even. Yeah, I did say that. Eric keeps like he keeps like asking me the question the way so he gets confused. That's what I'm telling you. Just let me
No, I'm
explain what I'm
not.
trying to say.
Okay. So
Go
you're
ahead,
going.
bro.
Okay, so
No, let
yeah,
him go ahead.
go ahead.
Apparently, I'm fucking putting him in the Kyoka so he gets to. Go ahead, nigga. I don't.
Because I'm confused as well. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
okay, go ahead.
I'm saying right. Lolong, he can hit harder. Right. It's whatever. But that because of that, right? The whole reason I brought that up was because I was just saying like he has like that increased torque. The whole thing with torque that's explained in Austria is that when you move, like it's also the principle of the advance, why Ohma hits hard in the advance. When you move at a higher speed and you maintain the same mass and strength or whatever, it'll increase your strength. So all I said was that because obviously we went over the speed point and we were like, this is basically me just like saying that just so we get that out the way because we went over the speed point, right? We just you won that. So if Gaolang's faster, right, Lolong having like this increased speed on top of his strength wouldn't matter if Lolong had like weaker strength and then Gaolang could also hit faster. I was just saying that we don't know whether like just in base, like just their base strength without any speed added, whatever, who's stronger. So I was just saying that whatever, right? He can move at a certain speed. He can also just be like raw, physically stronger. So it doesn't necessarily mean that Gaolang could be faster. It's not like me
Bro.
attacking.
I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're saying. What are you saying? What's your claim?
Well,
Because
that was just, that was just me getting
he doesn't
something
punch
through out.
faster than Gaolang, and you just said that you don't know how strong Lolong is. So how are you saying that
That's
he
not
hits harder based on what?
okay. Hold on. For one,
Okay, what
like
does he
I'm
hit
gonna
harder
go
based
through.
off of?
Okay, you want to like get into because you were scared
Yes.
of Gaolang's AP. That's what you were doing.
Yes, I want to know. I want
Yeah.
to know how you're saying that Lolong hits harder than Gaolang based on what?
Like I was just gonna say, like he's able to like one shot. It doesn't even need to be like him like hitting harder. I was just gonna say he's able to like one shot Toa, right? And then Toa obviously scales to Julius and shit, and Julius scales to Waka, and Waka like has like higher AP than Gallon. Right? They have like he should hit harder. Gallon can like hurt Waka, whatever. But Waka should like hit harder. That's something that's stated. Gallon himself actually states that. He states that Ryan, Julius, and Waka are the only people that can match Nate. So he doesn't even think that he's in like that same like tiering of physical strength. Or
Yeah,
tackle.
physical power. Striking gives you like having better technique in striking amps your AP. And then you do realize that fucking Carlos saw Lolong knock out Toa, and he thinks that his capoeira Eastern martial arts is the culmination of striking, like the best shit that there is. So, like none of this matters. Like it's his strikes allowed him to knock out Toa, and Carlos is a relative striker, and Gao Lang's better than that. Like I don't understand like what you're saying. Like are you I don't know if you're trying to argue that Carlos I don't know if you're trying to argue that Lolong like I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, honestly, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about. Like it
Hold on.
straight up
Can you like
stated that
hold on?
it's
Hold on. Can
his
you like repeat
strikes.
that? So
Okay.
I got a phone
So
call.
Lolong strikes are enough to defeat Toa. Carlos believes that his martial art striking is the best striking shit ever. He believes it's the culmination of striking.
Okay.
And Gao Lang beats the shit out of him with Muay Thai. Like Gao Lang's a way better striker.
Well, I don't agree with him being a way better striker, even if you think he's a better
It's
striker.
stated
Well,
that Carlos had zero chance of defeating Gao Lang.
yeah, that's like due to multiple factors, not just like how
Like
skilled they
what?
are.
Well, like what?
Well, you already made the claim that he can like fully speed blitz Carlos. So
Uh-huh. And we saw that previously when he couldn't fully speed blitz Carlos, and it was just the two of them going back and forth with pre-initiative. Gaolang was still boxing on par with Carlos until he put Carlos to the point where he had put him in a spot where the attack was undodgeable. And Carlos, as a boxer, is to striking what Giroda is to throwers, what Kuroki is to karate. You know that, right?
No, I don't agree with that.
Okay, well, it's stated. Well, it doesn't matter if you agree because it's stated that Giroda's skill in judo is on par with Kuroki's in karate, and Giroda states that his skill in karate is much like Carlos is to boxing. He says that verbatim, and I'll get you all of
Right,
it.
yeah, show me.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
The mud skipper. Mud skippers, eh? Fascinating. I've never seen one up close. They'll need a place for mud.
Man close forest nearby, Captain. This one's not done.
There should be plenty out there. If we leave now, then we should be able to get there by tomorrow morning. Hey, don't go out of your way on our account or nothing. Oh, we happen to be heading that way anyway. What a coincidence. I ask you, what are the odds? Junior?
Here you go. Looking scans. Here you go. All right, do you have any contention with those scans? Hello?
Where does he? Where does he say that Carlos's boxing like skills should be on
At
like?
age 18, I found myself mired in despair. Just like my friend Medell, I had become too strong.
What? How are we interpreting that? That it's like he's like they're on the same level of skill and they're starting martial arts. Like, where'd you get that?
What do you talk? It literally talks about. So in Carlos's, they say he's so strong that he's lonely. I know someone like that, and they think of Kuroki. Kuroki thinks that Giroda is on par with him by virtue of seeing his skill, and they make a comparison of the solitude. And then in Giroda's backstory, he talks about the strength of his solitude, and he makes himself out to be like Medell. So if they're all comparing themselves to each other and they're all pinnacles, what would that mean? What would be the narrative implication?
They're just too strong for the people they've been fighting. Like, why are you interpreting that as like they're all like the same level?
Kuroki explicitly states that that man is on the same level as him. We also know that fucking Giroda has fought Carlos Carlos is considered formidable by Giroda, and Carlos explicitly states while fighting Gaolang that he hasn't felt tension like this in years. So it's very clear that they're all comparable. I don't understand. Like you were just
That's not
talking.
what you're trying to prove. I'm so
That
okay.
is what I'm proving. I am proving that they're all
What I
relative
asked
to each
you,
other.
what
Like
I what I
that
asked you to
you
prove.
okay? What? You
Okay,
asked me to prove what?
what I'm asking you to prove is
Hmm.
that because the claim you made, you're saying, oh, like, he thinks he's at the pinnacle of striking and whatnot. And I was like, okay,
Hmm.
like, where are you getting that? You said it's because he's considered to the same degree and like mastery of his martial arts or striking as Jordan is at judo. You're trying to what I'm asking, or what you like claimed, what you're trying to prove is that he's like completely mastered striking to the
Hmm.
point where it's like he's reached the pinnacle of it, and that
Hmm.
Gaolang's above that.
Hmm.
You saying that he's just also so strong that he's like all these people he's fighting don't challenge him.
Uh,
That doesn't have anything to do with him like having a certain mastery in striking.
so I just
It
want
has
you to listen.
nothing to do.
Okay. I just want you to listen to yourself, bro. Like so, Giroda and his specialty, which is throwing, is too strong because he's stronger than everybody else. No one can match him in throwing. Kuroki is too strong
That's not what's
overall.
that's not what's saying.
Okay, so you think that okay, so
Unless you think like the
where
only
in
people
his
he's gonna
backstory at age 19 I found myself mired in despair. No one could fold him. How does that not mean that he's the best thrower?
whatever, like he could be the best thrower. What I'm saying is it's not said that the only people he's fought is judo people. Only people he's fought is people that were thrown.
I
Because what
never
the
said
context
that.
being,
Is that what I said? Or did I say he's the
hold
best judoka? If you don't let
hold
me,
on.
just like you asked me not to interrupt you, you got to shut the fuck up because that's not what I'm talking about. I never said he only fought
I
throwers.
wasn't even done talking, Arrow.
I was talking. It doesn't matter if you were done. You interrupted
You just hold
me.
on, Arrow. You
Nigga,
just
you
asked me a
interrupted
question.
Yo,
me. I
yo,
I
yo,
was
was
yo, yo,
in the
talking.
yo.
middle of
I
Okay,
was
talking.
so
in the
hold on,
process
hold
of
on, hold on, hold
talking.
on, hold on,
I
hold
was
on.
in the
Okay, so there's been a misunderstanding. What AeroFlame is saying, from what I understood, is that Giroda is simply the best judoka. At no point did he claim that fucking
Yeah,
Giroda is fighting
I'm not.
strikers.
That's not what I'm saying. That's why, like, I was about to say something.
all
Arrow
right,
just
but it doesn't matter what you're about to say because I was in the middle of talking. It was my point, and you
I
interrupted
was.
me, and you're
I was just
confused as
arguing
fuck.
something.
It
Okay,
doesn't matter. I was in the
okay.
middle of talking. You asked me not to talk when you talk, and I stopped talking. And I'm asking you to stop.
Arrow,
Don't raise your voice.
that's
Just
not what I
stop
asked you.
talking. Just stop talking. Because when you asked me to stop, I stopped.
Holy shit. Okay.
Give me
I
the
don't like.
same
Yeah,
courtesy.
if you're just gonna start
Shut
striking like this,
the
whatever.
fuck
It's
up.
okay.
Shut the fuck up.
Damn, Arrow.
Shut the
Holy
fuck up.
shit.
I'm asking you.
Calm,
Damn.
I've already
calm,
asked you
calm,
so
calm.
many times
I was just
nicely. Shut
Arrow,
the fuck up.
Calm,
Arrow.
calm,
I was just about to say it,
Just
bro.
hush.
Damn.
Just hush. Just hush. Just shut the fuck
Holy
up.
shit.
Just
I
be
don't know why
quiet.
you're trying to spring on me.
Okay, just be. I'm not trying to spurg on you, but you gotta stop talking when I'm talking. You asked me to stop talking when you're talking, and
All
I
right,
stopped. But
Arrow.
you
Just
shut
continue. Just continue.
up,
Just continue.
nigga. Shut up. You keep
Hey,
doing it.
Arrow.
That's
Oh
why
my
I know
god.
you're a
Okay.
stupid
Just start
bumblefuck.
bro,
talking.
Shut up,
Damn.
nigga.
bro.
Shut up, you
Calm,
stupid
calm.
bastard. Shut the fuck
Just
up.
Arrow.
stop.
Oh my god.
No,
I
shut
Calm,
was
the
just
fuck
calm,
telling
up.
you just
calm,
to continue.
calm,
Stop
calm. You're not
talking.
gonna make it better.
Stop
You're not
talking.
making it better, calm. Just hush. Just go on
So,
mute.
like I was
I'm just
saying,
telling him to
yeah,
continue. Like
but
he's
shut
just
the
going
fuck
on a
up. It
rant.
doesn't matter. It's my turn to talk. You can
Oh my.
go
Okay.
when it's
Okay.
your turn.
Arrow. Okay.
Shut the fuck up. Be quiet. Hush. So it's stated explicitly that he stands above all judoka. He's the best thrower. And he says that Kuroki says that man is on the same level as me. And then everybody said, and then the same thing happens where Carlos is like, there's no one who can challenge me. I can't be held. And we know that his specialty is boxing. And we also get the same comparison between Carlos and Kuroki. And then we have Jirota compare himself to Kuroki. So if the thing that if their point of them bringing up Kuroki is to show that he's supposed to be on this level, and they say the exact same thing about Carlos, then is he on Kuroki's level? And then fucking Giroda's like, me and Medell are similar in the fact that we're both too strong. All the narrative implications point to them all being the same level in their specialty. It's explicit and on the page. It constantly talks about them being on a certain level. You can go ahead.
All right. I don't know why you just did all that to just like repeat yourself. That's why I was just gonna like start going into what I was gonna say. because you like completely misunderstood. You did the same thing with before. You just completely misunderstood what I was saying, and then you just went with it. I didn't just say that you like made a certain claim or whatever. I was saying, right, with the whole like Judica thing. I never even said you claimed anything. I was saying that it's not stated that he's only fought judo people. It's stated that he's just too strong for everybody that he's fought. Because your certain claim, you're saying that in their certain fighting style, they've all gotten too strong. They've all reached that certain pinnacle, right? And I'm saying that's not what's stated when Jirota is going over that. I agree that like for like out of everybody in judo, nobody has been able to match him. But that's not the only people he's been fighting. Right? She can't prove that only niggas he's been fighting. So, because obviously he would, if he could find anybody else to him in judo, he would go out and start trying to fight other people that do other things, which is what he does with Purgatory and shit, right? So I don't know where you're like, why you started like doing that, and why you like just did that whole thing with you talking to repeat yourself, and you even understood what I was asking you, or why I said the whole thing with the Hojo thing.
Okay,
So
let's go.
I just don't think I don't just don't know where like we've like where you like fell into the whole thing where you think they're comparing only that one aspect, because Carlos also we know hasn't only been fighting boxers, he's been fighting other people. It's just stated that for all of them they've this had this thing where they've looked for strong people and haven't been able to find it. It's not just that only in their certain martial arts. It's just overall they haven't been able to find people to really give them a challenge and a thrill in a fight. So you're not proving the claim that you set out to prove, which is that in their certain martial arts they're the best or that nobody can match them. You all you've like managed to prove is just things that are stated, like just
Okay.
things that don't relate to your point.
Okay, we can go to conclusions because I genuinely don't know what the fuck you're talking about right now, bruh. Like we can conclude on this point. Like you're like completely and utterly off the mark. Uh, so we can conclude on this point. In conclusion, I feel like I proved that Jirota's the strongest judoka, and Carlos is akin to him in the same way that Kuroki is akin to Jirota because they've all been stated to be on the same level, and we know that Carlos's specialty is in striking. I'm not sure what he's. I genuinely have no fucking clue what he's talking about with the whole only fought boxers and only fought other judoka thing. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. So he didn't even he didn't he didn't address anything. He didn't address the Kuroki comparison or the Jirota comparison. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. And that's why I believe I won. I don't think he addressed my shit at all. Go ahead, Calm Rage.
All right. I don't like the whole like that whole point was just him like not getting this has been the whole debate. It's just him like not getting what I'm saying. I don't know if it's like I need to like talk simpler because I don't know how he's like understanding. I've really only made one claim. Like, it's nothing extraordinary. All I said was that Arrow isn't proving what he's trying to prove. He's saying that he's trying to prove. He's also like not understanding what he has to prove. He has to prove, or what he was the claim he made and what he's trying to prove is that they're all like at the same level of mastery in their own category. How he tries to prove that is by sending statements that they're all gotten too strong for them to, fight other people, and it's boredom, and it's like it's solitude, and they're like if they feel alone because they just become too strong. I like repeatedly asked them what the fuck that has to do with them having a mastery in their skill, and all he said was just like the same thing over and over again, where he said that it's like this narrative thing where if they're all being compared in that, then that just means they just reached like this level where in their certain martial arts it's just like nobody can compare to them. And I agree that nobody can compare them, at least as far as who they fought, or nobody's like reached their level necessarily. But that has nothing to do with only their martial art, which is why I said the whole Jorota hasn't only fought judoka and Carlos hasn't only fought boxers. Because I'm saying, like, even though Jorota has like reached the peak of his own martial art, in the comparison, it's not like comparing like Jirota's skill in his own martial art to Carlos and to Kuroki. What's being compared is the boredom they felt fighting everybody that they fought, which includes different martial arts. So his reasoning for trying to prove that in their certain martial art they've reached the peak and that nobody can match them, that's not what's being compared. And even if you think that Kuroki has reached the peak and that Jirota has, that's fine. But you can't prove that for Carlos because what's being compared here isn't only that specific part of it. It's being compared overall, that their overall ability in these fights, fighting different fighting styles, all of them just don't compare to them. Not only in a certain skill, which is what he has to prove. So he just like he just hasn't proved what he has to prove. Like I just don't like know where he doesn't understand that.
Okay.
Okay. So y'all consent to me like judging this point as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Comrade, because I'm kind of in the same boat as Arrow as well. So what you're saying, right? Arrow's trying to prove that they are the best in their respective martial arts, right? And you're saying that that's not really valid because it could just be a comparison as to like them versus various martial arts, right? Not just their respective martial arts. Is that what you're saying, Com?
Kinda. Like, I'm not saying that it could be. I'm saying that's what's being compared in the panels. I'm not saying that's like a possibility. I'm saying that's what's stated in the panels. And it's not just like because yeah, what he's trying to prove is just that nobody compares to them and what they do, not even just their own martial arts, just on what they do. Because he's trying to prove like he's not trying to prove he's the best boxer. He's trying to prove he's the best striker. So he just hasn't proved that. That's what I'm saying. Because that's not what's being compared in these panels. And what's stated in these panels is that they just become too strong for everybody that they fought, not only people in their respective martial arts.
Okay, that's fine. So if I remember correctly, AeroFlame had sent the panel of Carlos being directly compared to Kuroki, right? And this is the same Carlos who's already in purgatory, has fought like different martial arts, right? Which would just encompass striking in general. So we have that. And then we have Kuroki stating that he's on the same level as Jirota, which is the same Jirota who's like fought past judo, right? He's fought various martial arts in purgatory. So like how do I say this? Like it doesn't even matter because like just the level that they display, it's just like far better than like what like their respective martial art. Like I don't even know. I don't like. I'm so confused. I'm honestly still fucking confused on what you're trying to argue. Because
You're
like at this
confused?
point,
Oh, okay.
like at this point,
Okay.
I just want to give it to like AeroFlame already.
If you're like confused, I can ask a question. So, villain.
No, you
Sure.
can't. We've concluded on the point. Like it's
Well,
your
actually,
No,
fault.
I'm
yeah,
helping him.
Yeah.
He said he doesn't.
No, it
Error.
doesn't. No,
He
it
said
doesn't matter. No, you're adding more information after
because
conclusions, and
because because
you can't do that.
error. I'm not adding
because
more
No, that's
information.
against the rules. You can't do that
Error.
in a
Hold
debate.
on. Damn. I just said
No,
that's
I'm
not what
not
I'm
gonna
doing. Let me
hold on.
do
You're
it.
trying to cheat, nigga. You can't do that.
Oh
You
my god.
cannot do
Holy
that.
shit.
okay,
Error.
look,
Error.
okay,
Error.
look. How about this? How about this? How about this? None of this shit even matters because the original point that you guys are concluding on is on Gaolang being a better striker than fucking Lolong,
Yeah.
and that
Error.
point,
Like
AeroFlame won that point.
error. Like
Like this feels
what
like
I
a
was
like.
going to
Hold
explain
on,
to
hold on,
villain
hold
is
on, hold
because
on,
he
hold on,
said
hold on. Wait, hold on. Let me give the judgment because I feel that this point is just kind of like an extension of the previous point, right? But the previous point on its own is already enough for me to just give it to Arrow, and I can explain why.
okay. Go on.
Okay, sir. So, so in the beginning, you agreed that Gowling is a better striker than Lolong, right? And then Lolong one-shotted Toa, sure. You said Gowling mimicking the fucking technique. That shit does not matter. Gowling yeah, Arrow said that like Sila is a striking martial art. Gaoling is just better at striking via being the pinnacle of striking. And then you said that Lolong can hit harder because of torque, which is like something relative, like that relates to speed, right? And then Arrow just said
No,
that Gaoling punches
that's
faster.
that's not what
So
torque.
I don't know where that. Okay, fine. So I don't know where that scaling goes. And then you went into like this scaling chain of Lolong punching higher than Towa relative to Julius relative to Waka. I don't know where that went. And then yeah, that shit did not matter because Arrow stated that Carlos saw Lolong one shot Towa, and then we have Carlos himself saying that he's like also like at the culmination of fucking striking with the three martial arts that he has. I don't think that was refuted sufficiently. And then yeah, Arrow went into like saying that like Gowling is a better striker, and then you said, well, it was because of like other shit, right? Because of speed. And then Arrow mentioned that that shit does not matter because he was still boxing on par with fucking with Carlos without all that speed shit. So that did not matter, and you really had no contention to that. We just moved on from that. At that point, Arrow won.
You seemed really confused my arguments. Like, I feel that shit was just not what I said.
Okay, listen. I literally wrote all of this down. Look, go to text to VC. Go to text to VC.
Like honestly, bro,
Like this isn't all coming from memory.
you're not niggas.
Yeah, that is not what I said. What the fuck? Okay, yeah, you were like definitely confused with the torque shit, especially.
Did you have a torque? What was the torque argument? You said the torque was in relation to speed, didn't you?
No, okay. The whole thing with the torque, right, is that we have right the torque. It can increase your speed, right, with his technique, but we know that's why I went into the whole like raw strength thing, right? Because I was saying they have this base speed, or they have this base strength. Torque, all it does is increase that strength by moving at a higher speed. So I was saying there's this like unknown variable, which is the strength. And then we have the speed, and we have the speed along with that, which is all it does is amp your raw strength. Then Lowell can hit a certain like way, he can hit really hard. And then with the torque, his speed just increases that. So what Villain said with the whole torque thing was just that because the speed thing it doesn't really matter because we've like went over and he said that he won the points with Gallon being faster. That's fine because it's an unknown variable, which is like your just base raw strength. So he was like really confused on that.
It sounds like you.
And then like that's why I like went into the scaling because I'm saying that even with the torque, that's just like there's this variable that we don't know about.
Yeah.
So that variable can just make up for it.
He has typed. He just didn't add the shit about the unknown variable.
That's the only part that matters. So he just left out the part
So
that
you're
doesn't
saying
matter.
the only part of that point that matters is the shit we don't know?
Yeah, because that's leading
Then
into my point.
don't have to. Then it doesn't have to be addressed because you're talking about some shit that we don't know.
That's what leads into my point, Era.
Okay, so you're gonna tell me how strong Lolong is. You're gonna tell me how strong he is.
No, that's not what that is.
Okay, so if you can't tell me how strong he is, then that point's irrelevant because
Why?
because we don't know.
Oh my god. Okay. Here,
Look,
let me.
I'm so lost. Maybe
Okay.
listen,
I don't even.
listen,
even
because
know.
what you're saying, what you're saying is that there's an unknown factor that we can't scale that puts
No. Okay.
that
Hold on.
somehow puts
Villain,
Long
Villain. I was
above
just about to
Gal. Like,
explain.
what is the unknown factor?
Hold
What are you
on,
talking
Villain.
about?
I was just about to explain. Hold on, damn. Don't actually. When I was just about to explain it to you. What I'm saying with the unknown variable is that I literally just said this. Is that it can be made up, right? And what makes it up is the scaling. If I give you reasoning for Lolong to hit harder than Gaolang, and then we have this variable. We have one variable where like we know Gaolang is surpassing Lolong in at least based off your judgments, and then we have this variable that we don't know about. I'm saying we can make up for Gaolang having an edge in that one variable by this variable we don't know about. So if I were to scale him above, because the whole point is that if Gaolang is just superior in speed, and that's like the whole point of torque and why it amps you, then just like you said, this is why I said this is the most important part that you just left out. Just like you said, that would instantly mean Gaolang hits harder off of that because he should be faster and he's then like more skilled as a striker. So
What?
if I'm saying that because of this unknown variable that can make up for the whole speed thing, that's just why I can if I can sufficiently prove that low long hits harder based on my scaling, then that's
So
just like
you're currently giving scaling for his AP?
yes.
Okay, how
That's
hard does
Yeah,
how hard does he hit?
that's just what we were going over. So
How hard does he hit?
destroying the gallons, like that's what we're scaling.
How? Based on what? Based on what?
This is the point we just went over.
Okay, well maybe I missed it. Where did you
Okay,
scale low long above Gaolang? When was that?
I said low long one shots Toa. I said Toa was
Oh,
above. Yeah, that hold
yeah,
on.
we just went over this shit where I said that the car.
Yeah, that's what it's.
So you're talking about some point you lost already. He just said you lost that point.
That's why I was saying that he was like confused on a bunch of my points.
okay.
He wasn't confused because he didn't write down the invisible variable that got debunked. The variable that we were talking about was strength, and you were trying to use your scaling to prove that variable to be greater than Gaolang's strength. But we proved that wasn't the case because we already went over the fact that Gaolang has greater technique than fucking Low Long, and his technique is what allowed Low Long to knock Toa out.
Yeah, that's the okay for what that's the part that's important about the torque. Oh my god, the whole point about the torque
Shit.
is that even if Gaolong's a better striker, he doesn't do that. This is also something Villain just ignored when he just glossed over. He was like, "Oh, I don't know what he's talking about there." The whole point about the torque, I was saying that's something with the shoulders Gaolong doesn't do. We didn't address that at all. That's something he doesn't do, and the whole thing is I don't want to prolong this debate.
What is the
Hold
no,
on,
just
damn,
what the
nigga, I was just
shoulders have to
talking.
do with
Damn,
it?
Yeah,
don't let me
hey,
first start
hold on,
going
hold
slow.
on, hold on, hold on.
You're
Just
talking
let him
about
finish.
something else. Stay focused.
Real quick. Let me just summarize the situation because I'm finna go. Comrade, if I recall correctly, this is your scaling, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't agree with Villain's judgment, right?
I mean, I don't want to argue with him on it. I was just telling
Okay.
him really confused about my arguments. So.
How about this? Let Villain go with this judgment here. You can go ahead. If you need to show him why it's wrong later, you can, and just go into arrow scaling for now.
No, well, we already went over aeroscale. Or
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
y'all did? Okay, what y'all
but
got to go over?
Fairy, usually I'd be okay with some shit like that, but this
Mm-hmm.
nigga is just simply not making sense. Villain's not doing anything wrong. No one in here is fucking mishearing shit or missing shit. He's not making any fucking sense. He's
All
talking
right.
about he keeps talking about the torque and the fucking spin of his arms and shit, but that shit has nothing to do with nothing, bro. Torque has to do with speed. We've already gone over the torque, and we've already gone over the fact that Gaolang's way faster than fucking Ohma is. So this torque shit is irrelevant. That's what I'm saying. He keeps going over shit that's irrelevant. We've already gone over this. We've already gone over it.
Yeah,
I don't need to.
that's
I don't need to
that's
hear
like
this shit again.
Okay.
exactly
Okay.
Holy
Different
shit! Like he just
situation. How about
Matter
consistently
of fact,
ignored
how
us.
about
I
this?
don't even want to be like.
Fairy,
Wait. Yeah.
before you go, listen to his torque argument and tell me if you understand, please.
I got to go right now.
Go.
But here, I'll give this is a better solution. Whatever y'all points y'all need to finish, go on to those for now. Comrade, you and
That's what I
Arrow agree
wanted
for
to do.
one more
Just have
judge.
to argue with
They'll
him.
judge the recording, and if it's still the same shit, then it's just whatever. But I'm gonna go. Y'all have fun with this later. Y'all have a good day.
This shit nonsense, bro.
Yeah.
This nigga,
okay.
Comrade, you
All
genuinely
right.
I just don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro. It literally sounds like
All
you're
right. Well,
keeping
I was
my
in the
nigga.
middle. I was in the middle of saying something.
Just stay focused on the torque shit, bro. Just focus on it and be as maybe I'm a retard. Put it in retard terms. Talk to a 5-year-old.
All right. Hold on. What was I saying about the? Okay, yeah. I was already talking about the torque. I was saying okay, because what you just said. You're talking about the whole torque and it's a speed. This is the base principle of what I've already talked about. The whole point I've been trying to make about the torque is okay. If Gaolang, right? The whole thing about the scaling, right? Because it seems like you already understand the orc part, but you don't like get this scaling. You're like the whole reason why you think that you've debunked the scaling is like based off of the him being a better striker. And like I said, I already explained with the whole better striker thing. He doesn't do what Lo Long does. Him like being better with pure striking doesn't really matter that much because this is a specific technique that Gao Long has nothing to do with. So he can like have better skill. And the whole thing with the whole Carlos thing doesn't really matter. I was just saying that because you were trying to say that he's significantly more skilled, and I was disagreeing with that heavily. But that like whole thing doesn't even matter because I'm saying he doesn't do the torque, so there's no reason for that to matter. Like I don't care. Like it's like if you were to say Messi's a better player than fucking Ronaldo, so he just has to be better at fucking kicking and scoring. When that's not the only thing that goes into being a player. So when you say he's just overall better, doesn't necessarily need to mean that he's better with kicking and scoring. So Lo Long has that specific aspect, the specific technique that amps his AP that Gaolang doesn't do. So there's no reason for you to say Gaolang has higher AP just because of the skill.
Okay, it doesn't. Okay, so that I don't give a fuck because even with the shoulder blades thing, Carlos says that his martial art is better than that. It's a better striking than this. So I don't give a fuck. Like
That
that's
that's
a
great.
I was confused. Now I know why I'm confused because you're bringing up shit that does not matter. The torque doesn't matter because Carlos's martial art is better than the torque arms. Like, and then Muay Thai is better than that.
I am flabbergasted. That is insane.
So you think it? So you're saying it does? He doesn't say
No,
that
the
his
reason, like the reason,
combination of striking.
the reason I'm flabbergasted is because like I just like that's the whole like I just went into that whole little speech, and all you gather from that was that it doesn't matter because of the specific thing that I'm arguing against in the speech. That's why I'm flabbergasted. That shit just
Nigga,
didn't make sense. What you just said.
I must be smoking crack or something. So what does the torque do? What does torque do for you?
Makes you stronger. It makes you hit harder.
Okay, so you think that the torque is a technique that he employs that makes his strikes better, correct?
No, stronger, not better.
Okay, so you think that being a stronger strike isn't a better strike?
No, not in the
Why?
way not in the way you're trying to see.
Well,
You're saying like
why would having a punch?
yeah, hold
Why
on,
would
hold on,
having a why
hold
would
on. Aaron,
having a
don't ask me
punch
why
that's
when I'm
the
going to say
exact
what.
same? Why would having a punch that's the exact same but stronger not be better? Tell me why.
And don't like ask me why when
No,
I'm going
tell me
to.
why. Tell me why.
Wait,
Okay. Right. That not in the way you're trying to say. So let me explain. Right. You're trying to say like whatever that metal must hit harder or whatever because he has more skill and he's like a better striker. I'm saying this. I literally give a whole like analogy. That's why I'm so confused as to why you don't understand this. I give a whole analogy. I said you can say Messi's a better player than Ronaldo overall. That doesn't mean he scores more, or that doesn't mean that like he kicks harder or whatever. Because there can be multiple there can be multiple things that go into being a better player. Like a better analogy would be like for basketball, where obviously there's different positions,
You were to
different
say
things. You can be
Steph
like a better
is a better
dunker. Hold
shooter.
on there, hold on. You can be like a better dunker and be like absolute shit at scoring. You could say Curry's like a better player than fucking Giannis or
That's
Giannis
not what I'm saying.
just because hold on, damn Miro.
You keep
You like say
you're
that
making
no.
straw mans. That's not my argument. That's not what I'm saying. What
I'm
I'm
not hold
saying
on.
is no.
I'm
What I'm
explaining to
saying
you
no.
my
You're
argument. What are you
okay, but you keep trying to say, well, what I'm
Arrow,
saying is
arrow,
that's
arrow,
not what's
arrow.
happening on the fucking page.
Arrow,
I'm
arrow,
saying
arrow, arrow,
Steph
arrow. One, I don't
Curry
know why
and
you just cut me off and
LeBron
say that
James
too.
are
I'm not
both
talking right now.
shooters,
I'm
and
explaining to you my
one of
argument.
them is a
one
better
person,
shooter than
one
the
person.
other. No, he's straw manning
Arrow,
me.
arrow,
He's
arrow,
talking
arrow,
about
arrow,
some
arrow.
shit that I'm not talking about. He keeps
Oh my
doing
god,
this
holy
shit.
shit,
It's
Arrow. I'm just
so
gonna look at you. I don't
annoying.
know why you just did
This
that.
nigga
So you just
So
started like
stinks. This
spreading
nigga stinks. He's ass. He's
hold on.
ass. He doesn't know what the fuck he's
So
talking
let's
about.
just
He keeps
let's just
making
get on
these
the same fucking page.
disanalogous, stupid fuck arguments.
Okay, hold on. Let's just get on the same page here. So, comrade, you're saying that there are different aspects to striking, right? And that one person can be better at striking than another person, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're better just overall.
That you're a better striker. He thinks that just because you're a better
If you
striker
repeat that, I
overall,
was
it
just
doesn't
like,
mean you're a
I
better
was reading something.
striker. He's talking about fucking Giannis and Ronaldo, Cristiano being a better player versus a better player. That's not what I'm fucking saying. I'm saying fucking LeBron James and Steph Curry are out of line. Once one person says, yeah, Steph Curry is a way better shooter than fucking LeBron is. That's it.
Oh.
Period.
Yeah.
It's not overall.
Listen,
I'm not saying that Carlos is a better fighter. I'm saying he's a better striker. One
All right,
component
Villain,
of
can you
it.
like you
look,
said
It's
so,
it,
stupid
it
as
is
fuck.
really bad.
It's so
comrade,
I
fucking
was
stupid.
listen,
I was
comrade. I think you
saying
glossed over a specific question that Arrow made. So the reason why we're here is because you just didn't want to like you addressed the question, but like I don't know what the fuck you were thinking. So AeroFlame verbatim asked you, right? Is punching harder or is striking harder than someone, not just better fucking striking? And you said no or some shit. Like
no. Okay, Villain.
I don't get.
Hold on,
What?
Villain. This is like the whole problem, right? When I said that, I specifically said not in the way you're trying to say it, because Arrow is trying to make it out like, oh, because he's a better striker overall, he needs to hit harder and work because it makes you hit harder. And
But
he has a
that's
better
what it
technique, or
says.
he's like his
It
techniques
says his
overall is better than
technique.
that.
It
That
says
he
his
also has to hit
technique
harder.
enables
I'm saying that's retarded, and I gave an example of that. I'm not saying that like hitting harder doesn't make for a better strike. I'm saying not in the way Arrow's trying to make it out. That's why I specifically decided to explain that part, because like Arrow just like he done this entire debate. He's consistently like misconstrued what I said. And this is like I don't want to like make the debate like this. I don't know why he keeps doing this. I wanted
No,
to have
this
like a
nigga's
chill debate,
stupid.
and now I don't look me. He was just fucking screaming.
He's stupid.
Like I just don't want to
This
like
nigga's
fucking do this.
dumb
Like I
fuck
don't know what's doing.
retarded. This nigga literally
Yeah.
drools all over fucking shirt.
Oh
Like,
my god.
I don't understand what the
I haven't
fuck he's
looked at it.
talking
I don't want to
about.
fucking hear that.
Like,
Okay,
yeah,
so
you have me local muted. That's a fucking concession, you fat pussy bitch.
I don't
Like,
want to
this
shit.
nigga's talking about
yeah,
some shit that's not relevant. Villain, listen to what the fuck he just said, right? At the beginning of the debate, we established that it was Lo Long's technique that allows him to knock out Toa, right?
right.
And
Yeah,
we're saying that Carlos has better technique. Therefore, what?
yeah. Carlos should just go higher.
I'm not being a cunt. I'm not fucking just beating my dick and coming everywhere just because I want to fucking mark my territory. He's not making any sense. The thing
I
that
also
we're
told him
saying
not to
allowed
do
him,
this. Like I told him not
thing
to
that
start
we
screaming.
allowed
Like
him to, no, the thing
I
that we
said in the
allowed
joke,
him
but
to,
like I
yeah,
don't know why he's doing that
yeah,
shit.
shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't understand why he's has me local muted, and obviously I'm talking to you because you're not talking, but you're unmuted. So he needs to shut the fuck up. This is a stupid bastard who came in here and didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. He needs to go back to being off the cord because he's stupid as shit. Like, he literally came in here and didn't show anything. Like, this nigga's acting brain dead. And I don't know if he's actually just that not good, or if he just came in here to waste my fucking time. I don't understand how we can start off the debate and say Lo Long's technique allowed him to knock out Toa. Carlos is a better striker. Gaolang's a better striker than that. Who gives a fuck about whether the fact that he can spin his shoulder blades around? Who cares? Who the fuck cares? We were on that torque point for no reason, weren't we? You can say it, weren't we? We were on that torque point for no reason.
That's tough.
He has a very
That's tough.
particular way that he moves his shoulder blades that Gaolang doesn't do. Therefore, he can't be a better striker than. What? My nigga, what? That's
Yeah, honestly,
retarded. It doesn't
I
make any
mean,
sense. No,
I
it's not even about honestly. Oh, I mean, I'm not trying to hurt. No, he wasn't making coherent
oh no
fucking
no 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 no.
arguments.
What I'm saying is that like what I'm saying is that like this scaling now is kind of like, if I give this point to Arrow, that just means that like Arrow Flame, that Gowland kind of just like just one shots Ryan. Honestly, as long as like the scaling is there for like Ryan's getting to like Tower or some shit, but I really don't see how Carnage wins after this point.
He doesn't win. All this nigga was doing was throwing shit at the wall and hoping to God that shit.
I think the best course of action would just be like save the recording and just end the debate here.
Man, he can
Like
he's
let
already
other people
addressed
listen.
me.
Like just let other people listen to it because I don't think Combridge wants to debate anymore.
Yeah, he's a
But it
pussy.
was just bad.
Yeah,
It was a
so
dog
right now
walk.
I'm gonna call it a little pussy bitch.
Okay, that nigga left. All right. Oh my.